Namaskaram everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm super duper excited because we have Taylor Anna from Sounds of Isha. So as a proof, he has something for you that he's from Sounds of Isha. So Taylor Anna, on to you.
Thanks, Vaisakh. I'm just going to play a little bit of my new favorite instrument. This is called a RAV Drum, and just start us off, and then we'll get into it.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you want to hear more, you'll have to watch here till the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll get them here. Stay here. So thank you so much, Anna. Could you tell a bit about what is this instrument, before we begin?
Yeah, sure. So it's called a RAV drum, and it's a steel tongue drum. So you can see this right here it's cut out, right? It's cut with a laser, I think. And it obviously has a certain number of notes. And so it's kind of related to this instrument, which is called a handpan, which is kind of related to this instrument, which is a ghatam. Okay. So supposedly the guy that made this instrument was a steel drum maker, and then his friend showed him a ghatam that he had just gotten, and then that inspired him to make this instrument. Maybe 15 years ago. It's a pretty new instrument, and then I think this came after this. But yeah, so these are kind of my instruments of choice lately.
Oh, awesome. So thank you so much, Anna. I want to say special thanks. For most of you don't know, I was feeling a bit low the past few days. So Taylor Anna was very kind enough to send me an awesome music piece. I've been listening to it a lot. It really calms me. So maybe I'll put it in a Google Drive and put it in the link also, wherever you are listening. So you guys can check it out. So Anna, back to the podcast. So please tell me and all our listeners a lot about you so that, we get to know you and your journey and how did all this happen? Please.
Yeah, sure. And definitely stop me or ask me questions along the way if you want me to clarify or talk more about something. But, so I mean, as you might imagine, I like music a lot, and music is a big part of my life. I started playing when I was 12 in school, and then have just been playing more and more and learning different types of music and more instruments, and just spending more and more time doing it. So I love music, and I love all different types of music, and I think I've always been drawn to kind of the opposite of this, which tends to be oh, it's so peaceful and nice and calm and meditative and everything, which I love that too. But I also love super energetic dance music and rock music and electronic music. And I have for a long time. In growing up, I listened to a lot of hardcore bands and emo music and really energetic, passionate, emotional stuff. But then also all kinds of music. But I say that because I think that's carried over to some of the times when I've been able to play with Sounds of Isha and to play, ecstatic music that's dancing and super energetic and keeps people moving. I love that too. I realized this recently. I forget what prompted it, but I realized that my very first memory ever was when I was like 3 years old or something, and I saw a commercial for Power Rangers. Do you know what Power Rangers
yeah,
is?
of course. They are bomb
Yeah.
blast when they stand at the back.
Yeah. So, and I saw a commercial and I was like, I didn't quite like know what it was or like what time was, but it's like, okay, I think it's saying that there's a show on tomorrow night. And I'm like, I have to watch that. That's the coolest thing ever. And I loved Power Rangers for a long time. And I still like love to be active and love to move, either like riding my bike or playing drums or whatever. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of where I'm coming from, like way, way back. And then more recently,
Can I ask one thing? Like,
yeah.
Like, when does, like, I have seen, like, as I grew up, many people go into music. So when does one realize that they have the talent for music? Because I tried to playing something and oh no, this is too hard. When did you realize like you had that skill for to learn instruments? Was it more hard work or was it more a natural talent? I just want to know that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more hard work. I mean, I guess I'm semi-talented, but not really like super naturally talented. I was never like amazing just like right off the bat. It just comes from hours and hours of work. Have you heard the thing about 10,000 hours?
No.
Malcolm Gladwell is this famous author who wrote this book talking about how like most people that are, you know, masters or whatever of their field, like they've put in at least 10,000 hours of practice, like just emphasizing the point of like, it's about work, not really about talent. So yeah, I mean, basically since I was 12, I was in band and playing in different things at school. And then I studied music in college, basically all day, every day, just like practicing and going to rehearsals and going to music classes and stuff. So, I mean, I started when I was 12. I think probably by the time I was 16 or so, I knew like I wanted to play music, you know, for my whole life and like focus on that. And then just kept grinding, kept practicing hours and hours.
Yes, and so back to where you were saying something recently.
Okay. So in 2014, I went to this music festival called Electric Forest, and had a really amazing time, a bunch of great experiences, and including one, I actually saw this guy named Dixon's Violin, and it like, dude, it totally changed my life. He's one guy who plays violin with like looping pedals and plays live performance. Really beautiful. I'll send you a link. You should listen to him.
I'll put it in the description also.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out Dixon. And that experience was just so life-changing, and just like the music was so healing and so energizing. It was just amazing, right? And that, along with a couple other experiences that week, just left me like super inspired and excited. And basically I had like two main things like that I left with from that week. I was like, okay, definitely I want to like learn more about yoga, because I had seen Sadhguru videos or watch them on YouTube, but hadn't really done much about it. And I was like, cool, I want to learn more about yoga. I want to get into this yoga thing. And then I also knew that I wanted to like continue to practice music and continue to play music. And I wanted to be able to play it in like a similar way that I'd experienced it, because I guess what I noticed about that was like, here are all these people coming for this special thing that's only this one weekend, and they're driving in and spending all this money and all this time and like really investing in this weekend. And so what that meant was like all the music just meant so much more. Like it's so much different when it's just like you show up to a club on some night and you listen for an hour and then you go home. Yeah. It's so different when you're like really committed and you're at this festival. And so I was really interested in that, and I wanted to do that. So those are like the two things that I left with wanting to do. And then I left there and started doing Isha Kriya actually for a while. Like I was teaching music, and in between teaching my lessons, I would like go and find a spot to do Isha Kriya. Okay. And then in 2015, I did inner engineering, and I did it online. And then I went to III to finish it and to learn Shambhavi. And honestly, like it was great. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Shambhavi, and I was excited to be there. But it wasn't like completely life changing for me. It wasn't like fantastic, which I know for some people it is, and that's great. But just to be totally honest, like for me, it was like it was good. It made me feel good. Shambhavi was nice. It was, you know, energizing and relaxing. But like, you know, pretty cool. Yeah. But what it brought me was like, I want more. Like I want to do more. I want to go to the next thing. I want to learn more. I want to go deeper. And so then over the next couple years, I did, like, I just kept going back. I did Shunya and Shakti. A couple months later, I did BSP, which was amazing. Like I just couldn't imagine not going. And then just like got really into it, and I just wanted to spend. I didn't even really know why exactly. I couldn't give you like a perfect reason. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But I just was drawn to it, and I was drawn to Sadhguru. I was drawn to the yoga, and I was really liking, you know, how it was making me feel, and I was just interested. And so I just kind of kept going deeper, and then learned some Hatha yoga, and then 2016 went and did Samyama, which was a whole crazy experience that I'm super grateful for. Again, that was like a thing where I didn't have a bunch of money. I couldn't really responsibly afford to go, but I just couldn't imagine not going. Like once I had the idea of going, I was like, I mean, come on, I'm not going to pass this up. So I did that, and I was really grateful. It was honestly, it was really difficult. I think many other people's experience might be different, but for me, it was like one of the hardest things I've ever done. I came back from it, and I told people, like, I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but I definitely knew that it was intense and difficult and a challenge. But I left that feeling like, man, if I can do that, like I can do anything. Because it just was such a physical test and mental test that I just felt, if I can get through that, I can do anything. Maybe I should pause right there. I feel like I'm just blabbing. Do you have any particular area?
I have a particular area that I want to go. I never had a guest from Sounds of Isha, so I think most of the audience wants to know how to get into Sounds of Isha, and how did you happen to get there, and how is that whole process, and what is your
experience? Well, so for me, it was actually totally by accident. So in 2016, 2017, I was here living in Austin, and helping out with the programs, volunteering for the inner engineering programs here in Austin. And getting ready for it. There was a book tour. Sadhguru came through to do a book tour in 2016 throughout the United States for the inner engineering book. And so I had been volunteering for those programs. And so Sandhya, my friend here in Austin that helps run some of the volunteer activities, she texted me and she's like, hey, can you do SOI coordination for the book tour? And I was like, yeah, sure.
What is SOI? What is SOI?
Yeah, that's literally what I said. I was like, what is that? I figured it would be like I would be doing paperwork or, doing something. I was like, sure, I will help, whatever it is. And she's like, SOI is Sounds of Isha. I was like,
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Definitely. So then we put together a group. That was the first time we had played anything in Austin. So a few of us that were musicians got together and we rehearsed a few songs and put something together. And then from there, it's grown. Where I've played at some of the BSP programs, which have been also amazing experiences. I can tell you about that later. And playing for some of the inner engineering mega programs that Sadhguru has come for here in the States, like in Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Toronto, Dallas, San Francisco. We were supposed to have one earlier this year, but obviously COVID canceled that. So I've been really lucky to be able to support in that way, and kind of I've learned a lot through that, and been able to like experience music as like an offering, and that's I think one of the biggest things that I've taken from Sadhguru and Isha programs and from playing with Sounds of Isha is like kind of flipping it, where for the longest time growing up, I think I had it backwards of how I have it now, where the music environment that I was in, which is like kind of like a marching band, Texas band, competitive, super competitive world, was like kind of the goal that I had, or that it was very common throughout that, is like you play something and then afterwards you want a bunch of people to come up and say like, oh, you're amazing, that was so good job. And you say, oh yes, thank you for the praise. Thank you. But it was the total opposite. And that's how I like to do it now, and how I hope that most of the time that I play music is now, where like I'm not saying thank you, where I'm saying like you're welcome, which means that like if I'm playing something or we are playing something where that music is like for them and is to hopefully create an experience and to create a feeling or an experience or whatever, like to give them something that they are grateful for. And so that instead of me saying like, oh yes, thank you for all the praise, it's like, you're welcome. Like I'm so glad to be able to offer this music and to give you music and play something that would mean something for you and would give you, such a positive experience.
Oh, I was about to ask that, but you answered it. Like, what does it mean to make it as an offering? But I think that's covered.
Yeah. And so, and it's like, I try to do that like every time before I play. I mean, I'm not perfect, and there's plenty of exceptions, but like, it really has been ingrained in me, and it's definitely something that I'm conscious of now. Like before I play, I at least try to mentally in my head remind myself that it's an offering and try to, make sure that I'm treating it that way and giving the music in that way. It's a trick because it's more rewarding for me that way anyways. It's like I get as much out of it as anybody else. And like, cause like when I'm playing, and even if I'm just playing by myself, like obviously I just love music and it makes me feel awesome. So it's not that hard to try and, invite somebody else into that same experience.
So I want to ask you something. Like I was never into like classical music. Whenever someone used to play classical music or something like that, I used to like, what is this? I was into rock music, like not rock, hip hop and all. But after I heard Sounds of Isha and going through the practices nowadays, even if it's not Sounds of Isha or some classical music, I like to listen to that. So what is with the Sounds of Isha, and what is it that makes it different? Even during the programs, you said there is something different, like when you play for a program. So could you talk?
Yeah. I mean, first answer is I don't know exactly. But I think, so the one thing about it is it literally, there's just some sort of extra magic that comes through when the person that's playing the music is like really intentional, I think, with, like what they're doing. And it almost has to do with everything besides the actual music and notes. Like I'm sure we could talk about like what notes and what rhythms and everything make up Sounds of Isha, but like what I think is more important is like the setting that you are, like why are the people there? What are they expecting? What are you intending? Like if it's me playing, like what am I intending to do with that music, and like what's the intention behind it? I think that goes a long way in like how people receive it. But I mean, like more technically, Sounds of Isha is just like a mix of all different styles. And I think one of the reasons that it, has the effect that it does is because all those factors are included. It's not just thinking like, oh man, let's play some sick rhythms. Like, let's play some really cool music. Like, oh dude, let me get out my new drum. It's like, it's not about that. Like we're always trying to be in service of the moment and trying to support Sadhguru and trying to support whoever's there listening. And so then that naturally shapes in so many like countless ways, shapes how the music ends up being.
Great. That's like totally cool. So anyone like, do you know how this Ale song came up or something about it? I really wanted to know about that. Like,
I don't know. I wasn't involved in it.
Okay.
I mean, because there's so many people. Like, yeah, I'm a Sounds of Isha musician, but so there's plenty of other people around the world that are doing that too. So in India, it was obviously where Ale was started, or where that was written. And I know it was meant as like a wave of bliss across southern India. And of course, it's a super popular song, and everyone loves to hear it, and I love to play it too.
So I think at the end we'll play. Like how much more time do we have?
I don't know. What time is it right now? I got a few more minutes.
Okay, so last question. After that, you can play the music for us or not.
Oh, I'm so sorry that it has to be so short. We should do this again. We'll have a part two maybe, because there's so much more to talk about. We can do part two in person.
Okay. Oh, definitely part two in person.
I want to come. You're always welcome in Austin, and I hopefully will come to India maybe next year.
Awesome. So my last question is, it's more regarding sadhana. So I'll not regarding music. So actually today one Akka messaged me, like she has done all the programs. She has even become a Hatha Yoga teacher. So she said like she used to watch my videos and everyone is saying they're happy, they're blissful. And she's like, okay, I'm getting physical, but I'm not mentally becoming that strong, or that happiness is not coming. And it's later when she heard some of the podcasts that she realized, okay, there are a lot of people struggling. So that there are two sides of the coin. So could you talk about like, are you like, are there some struggles with your practices, or like, is it like super smooth, or like, okay, I'm good?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had ups and downs, and I would never pretend to be like, oh yeah, just every time I sit for Shambhavi, it's amazing. For me, that's not true. For other people, it may be, but for me, it's not. But definitely, like, I've definitely kept up some practice consistently. There was a period of time where like I wasn't doing much. I wasn't doing Shakti. I wasn't doing like my Samyama practice, all these different things. Now, lately though, especially because of Corona, it's been actually kind of a good support, and I've been able to kind of get back on it. So like now I'm pretty consistent. Every morning I'm doing an hour or so, and I've also been sitting for Shunya and Samyama. So lately it's been pretty consistent. But like my experience though has always been like, it always is definitely calming and helps me feel like more in control, and helps my mind feel more at ease, and helps my body just, feel smoother. I think for me, like I love Surya Kriya. That for me is so great just because it's like, it's so simple. It's just like action packed, like it only takes you like 15 minutes if you do one cycle or doing 3 cycles or whatever. But that is one of my favorites that I always do. And then also just honestly, just sitting with my eyes closed and kind of overlapping that with music. Like obviously music and Isha practices are separate, but like I like to play either like before or after, or have some combination of them. And like especially lately with this instrument, it's just so beautiful and natural that I love to just like play it and then just close my eyes and sit. So I've been kind of back and forth with my practices, but lately it's been a lot more solid, and I've definitely noticed a difference, and it definitely just keeps me stable mentally and emotionally. Even if it's not like creating big fireworks, like sometimes it does. And I've definitely had beautiful experiences and like, had fireworks or whatever, but generally it's nothing off the charts. It's just like a stabilizing force, and kind of like a gently energizing force.
Awesome, Anna. So where can the listeners reach out to you? Do you have like what social media profiles can be linked in the description?
Yeah. Mostly my Instagram and on Spotify. So you can just Taylor Han on Spotify and Instagram, or Taylor Han Music, or my website. It's just taylorhan.com. So actually, I literally just picked up these shirts. These new shirts. I put an album out recently. It's called Fly With Me. And it's basically, the idea is like, that music is a way to relax, but also be energized and inspired and everything. So like, come with me on this journey to do all those things. And yeah, so you can check that out, and you can listen on Spotify.
So will you send me the links? I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. You can put them in the description.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, can I tell one last story? Because I forgot.
Please, I am free. I have all day. You are not free.
Okay, good. So this instrument right here is called a handpan. Check out, see the bottom. It's like kind of like a flower. It's hard to see, but so my wife designed that, and then my friend that made this, put it on there. So this instrument has been created maybe 15 years ago or something like that, and maybe 10 years ago I saw one. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest instrument. I really, really want one, but they're expensive, so I couldn't afford one for the longest time. And then 2 years ago, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, my friend Zach he texted me and he said, "Hey, Sadhguru wants a handpan.
Oh,
do you know anybody that makes handpans?" I was like, "No, but I'll try and find out." Okay. And then so I put on Facebook, and I found out like, oh my gosh, my friend that I play in this band with makes handpans. I'm like, and he lives down the street from me. I'm like, amazing. He's like, yeah, dude, come to my shop. So I went to my friend Bryant's shop, Pan Snap Music, shout out. And I helped pick out a handpan for Sadhguru. And so we thought that it was going to be like, it was going to stay at Triple I in Tennessee, and like Sadhguru would play it there and we would play it there. And I was like excited, yeah, man, I'm going to get to play handpan now. But so we got it for him. And then we sent it to him, and apparently like Sadhguru got it. Was like, oh, this is awesome. And he just took it with him, and he flew. And we're like, oh man, I thought we were going to get to play it, but he liked it too much. But so then since then I was like, oh man, I really want a handpan. I really want my own handpan. It's the most amazing instrument. And then so I've been saving money. And then finally a couple months ago, I was able to get one. And so I ended up actually getting the same, well, not the exact same, but similar scale as Sadhguru. So he has what's called a D insen, which is 8 notes, and it's like a D minor scale with a couple variations. So this one is also a D minor, and it has all the same notes plus 4 extra notes. And so what that means is someday, maybe possibly, I'll hopefully get to play with him. Because we'll be able to play together because all the notes will be the same. So that's just kind of a little personal goal. And
it's like smooth move. Huh?
yeah. I can play this out if you want to. I
Please,
can end
please.
it up. Close
Please,
this out. All right,
yeah.
let me switch over my thing. Although I do love this instrument, it's hard to put it down. Oh, I love this sound. It's like the coolest drum. Okay, let's see. And thanks again for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to connect. Thanks. I think Trent is kind of the connector for us.
Oh, is it? Yes.
Yeah, well, when I saw Trent on your podcast, I was like, oh, cool, man, that's awesome. And then I guess we got connected on Patreon, I think.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to support. Can you hear this okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks so much for having me. I wish we could stay for longer. I could just keep going and going. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And talk to you all soon.
Yes. Okay, Anna. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.